And we have our special guest. We are going to be talking to the Portland Trailblazers power forward, Caleb Swanigan. What's up, Caleb?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
We are good, my friend. How are you and your family?
My family's doing well.
Oh, man, this has been really, really crazy what's going on right now with the COVID-19 and nothing's open. People are losing their jobs. It's absolutely crazy.
hmm
Well,
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. You just gotta stay with faith. You gotta stay with your faith right now, and a lot of people are going through a lot of different things. That's the biggest thing I'm doing right now to keep me grounded.
as you guys know, we're talking to power forward Caleb Swanigan. Now, Caleb, do you think there's going to be another? Do you think the NBA season's going to come back this year, or do you think they're going to cancel it?
To be honest, I'm not absolutely sure. I feel like a lot of us are doing what a lot of other people are doing, focusing on our family in times like that because it's an unforeseen circumstance for the entire world. So no one really has an answer, and that's kind of where it feels like I'm at right now too. I just don't have a clear cut opinion on anything as far as how the next season will forecome.
Caleb, what got you into playing basketball the most, and was it the first sport you got into when you were a kid, or even when you were in high school, whenever that was?
I played a lot of sports. It was the first thing I really was passionate about. That soccer and football. I played football up until ninth grade, and then I stopped. I didn't play soccer or anything past grade school, so it was pretty much basketball and football.
Caleb, what is it like playing with Carmelo Anthony? We're from New York, and Carmelo Anthony has been here for many, many years, almost 7 years with the New York Knicks. He signed with the Trailblazers. What was it like playing with a great power forward of that magnitude?
It was very fun. It learned a lot from Melo and the way he plays the game of basketball and the way he approaches life. Very diligent in a lot of different ways, and it's good to see that and good to see people still holding themselves to a high moral standard is what I should say. And he's a guy that does that.
Caleb, growing up, which player influenced you the most, or players influenced you the most when it came to developing your game, whether it was in high school, when you were at Purdue, or even in the pros? What players did you look up to the most?
The most players that influenced my game would most likely be Carmelo. One I play with now. He's a player that definitely influenced how I played basketball and how I wanted to approach the game. And most of the time, it was just guys that are around me. Reggie Tharp, he's just a teammate and a guy that I played against a lot, but he pushed me a lot through high school. Just with his difference of style of game. So those would be the two.
We are talking to Portland Trailblazers power forward Caleb Swanigan. What is it like playing with a great player of Damian Lillard's standard? I mean, this guy is the best point guard in my eyes in the NBA. He's been the best point guard in the NBA for the last couple of years. What is it like playing with a guy of that magnitude?
It's very fun. You never know what Damian is. He's gonna just get hot and make the next 5 or 6 shots in a row. It keeps you competitive because with a guy like that and guys like Melo and as we get healthy, you really can make a run because everyone knows when it comes to the playoffs, it's just time to play. Plays won't save you as players at that point. So um, that's why I was saying, yeah, it's an honorable thing to play with Dame. It's fun.
Is there anything that you take in from Damian Lillard, even if you guys are obviously two different positions, but there's anything you've learned from a great player like that too, that maybe has helped your game grow, not necessarily to more of a guard game, but again, to other
hmm
skills that you could adopt from him?
Just knowing how to set screens with guys that are attacking. When I first came into the NBA, I wasn't a pick and roll big at all because it's just not how we played. So with Dame and CJ, guys that if you set the screen, they're going to either score 1 out of 2 times if it's a good screen. It's different. You got to learn how to roll and play in the pockets rather than be the main option out of the pick and roll.
Now, Trevor Ariza was also a New York Knick. He's been a journeyman throughout the league. Well, he's one of the most underrated defensive players in the NBA that nobody even talks about. Tell me a little bit about Trevor Ariza, playing with him and his style of game. Has he taught you anything defensively?
Just tenacity. That's what he does. He always plays hard, and that's the biggest thing he says every single time is just goes out there and compete, does what the coach says, and doesn't make it too difficult. And that's why I believe that's why I believe he's been in the league for so many years.
In addition to the Blazers, you also had a stint with the Sacramento Kings, and they made an interesting hire as a head coach, bringing in Luke Walton. What did you think of him in your time at the beginning of the season there? And do you think he might have got a raw deal with teams like the Warriors or the Lakers, who are bigger names?
Luke went into what he wanted to because he made that choice as far as going with the Kings. I know what happened with the Lakers was it's just what happens with a lot of business. We get moved around. Like I got traded, and he went there with a good attitude and just continued to coach. I didn't mind Luke Walton at all as a coach. So it wasn't bad. There's just a lot of different changes that people don't realize. We went to India and then a new team, a new roster. So that takes time with anything and anyone. So I really don't have any for how things turned out. If they seem sour there, I don't have any malice or anything with the organization. The organization was well, and I liked it when I was there.
We are talking to Portland Trail Blazers power forward Caleb Swanigan. Now, Caleb, you have one of the youngest, most talented teams right now in the Western Conference. You have Damian Lillard, Carmelo Anthony, Nurkic, CJ McCollum, Hassan Whiteside, Trevor Ariza. So much talent. Do you guys think that you're on a cusp of doing something great in the Western Conference?
Absolutely. We all don't have any other goal than winning a championship. Even when I was a rookie, that was my goal when I came to Portland. That's something I want to do. And, with this type of talent around, that we have, it's not even around me. That's how talented we are. It's exciting to get out there and get minutes and compete because I know if we compete and do the right things, we'll win now, we'll win later, we'll win for some more years.
Caleb, Damian Lillard before this All-Star break had one of the greatest stretches you could see in NBA history. I think he had 30 points in pretty much, I think, 10 out of 12 games or something like that. It was just an insane streak. Where does that rank among what you've seen, maybe even growing up or even just encountered throughout the league that you've seen?
That was number one. I've never seen anything like that in person or even when I was in high school and stuff like that. I didn't watch enough games in a row of Kobe's to see every single one to be like that. So just to be in the game and seeing that, that ranks as number one.
Speaking of Kobe Bryant, I mean, the unbelievable story that came out a couple of months ago, his death, the growth of the NBA really rode on Kobe Bryant when he was a Laker and really drove, ever since he retired. What were your thoughts when you heard that Kobe Bryant passed away in that helicopter crash? It
was absolutely sad. I just really didn't know what to think. Mainly prayers to his family. Didn't take it personal. Things like that because it is basketball and basketball is basketball and he was a father to his kids and things like that. So just all to the family and let the family grieve him more, and I tried not to post and be too anything about it because it wasn't about me.
On that particular day and even preceding days after that, when Kobe and Gianna Bryant did pass away, a lot of teams were doing the 8-second violations, the 24-second violations to honor them. Mm-hmm. And again, a lot of players were playing with heavy hearts. What was your thought process on playing those days? Because there was a stretch of time when we thought the NBA would just cancel the games too.
It was just different. It was a lot of the NBA and a lot of the NBA family that had been just around Kobe Bryant or met Kobe. I hadn't met him personally, so I couldn't emphasize I couldn't promote empathy the way that the others could, but I could feel the energy that was around, and it was a tough time to play basketball. It just was.
We are talking to Portland Trail Blazers power forward Caleb Swanigan. Caleb, is there a player right now that you play against that you're standing on the court and you're like, wow, I'm actually playing against this particular player? Is there a player that stands out to you?
No, I don't have that anymore. I've grown past that.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. All right, Caleb, moving on to your college career. You played for a while at Purdue. You were one of the best overall players and big men in the nation. And what was your experience like at Purdue with your teammates and also with Coach Matt Painter when he was there, or when you were there?
1 second. Some music. Let me go outside. What'd you say?
I was saying, moving on to your college career, what was it like playing at Purdue with your teammates and with Matt Painter? And again, your teams really helped put that program on the map. What was your experience like there?
It was very fun. A lot of us had a good chemistry. That was the biggest thing. We had great chemistry and played with each other as far as played together. And everyone tried not to be selfish to win as many games as we could.
Caleb, in addition to Purdue, I was reading how you also decommitted from Michigan State, which is very interesting with Tom Izzo, the great coach that he is. What was your decision process really behind that?
The choice really came when I went to talk to my dad, and he felt it'd been best that I go to Purdue just to give me the best opportunity to get in the NBA. It never was anything relationship or Tom Izzo's still a great person, great things, and great things. The only thing I can say about that program, it really just came down to choosing what I thought would be best to get me to the NBA, and that's why I ended up decommitting.
Another thing that people don't know about is a story that you've actually that not you personally, but we have been told about you when you arose as a college player. You actually had to lose a lot of weight in order to get to be able to play college basketball and high school basketball. What are some advice you could give to any athlete, whether it's high school, college, that is going through that now, that needs to lose all that weight the way they did? What advice could you give to them?
Find faith with Jesus. That'd be the biggest thing, and just go through, because you're going to hear a lot of different things, a lot of different stuff, and faith in self and having strength where you can block out that type of noise and just keep going. And just keep going and follow what you think it is that you believe, and that's your destiny that's been given to you, and that's all I can really say.
Caleb, could we get you on the show where, if the basketball season comes back, or if there is a basketball season, could we get you back on before the playoffs?
Yes, if there is a playoffs this year, absolutely. We'll just, you have my number and I have your number, so just text me and that all can work.
Absolutely. Caleb, just tell all the fans how they can find you all over social media.
I'm on social media. My Twitter handle is Caleb Swanigan 50.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Caleb, for joining us.
No problem, sir.